Okay, great. Here we are. It's Christopher Seeley with Broad Strokes, segment on and for Good Food Revolution, where we paint the picture of the people behind the culture of wine, within wine, and around wine. And today I have the pleasure of speaking with Emilio Zierock from Foradori in Trentino, Alto Adige. We all know and love the wines made by his mother, originally started, or his grandfather's, I believe, at the farm, which we now know and love as Foradori. But Emilio brings in a new generation, a new energy of winemaking and spirit to the project, and we are going to spend a few minutes getting to know Emilio. So Emilio, if you could introduce yourself and let us know where you are in the winery and in North Italy.
Buonasera, buongiorno a tutti. Pleasure to be here. I'm Emilio, and together with my mom, my brother, and my sister, we ran our little winery in Trentino. So Trentino, it's actually a place more known for skiing than for winemaking. We are middle in the Alps, middle in the Dolomites. If I take my car in 20 minutes, I'm on a ski slope. And right now we have beautiful conditions and lots of snow around us. So it's not the typical Italian wine region you might have in mind. Trentino is a really alpine, cool climate region, which is defined in our case, by a local variety called Teroldego, which exists only here and loves this free and very cold alpine spirit. Myself, I'm in charge of the winemaking and the vineyards since 2013. So I make now the wines for 8 years. My brother Theo, he's the guy who's going around and sells the wine. I have a sister, Mirta, who spent 3 years in Canada, actually in Quebec, farming vegetables. She's in charge of the new project of vegetables, so we sell also vegetables in our region and winery. And my mom started her new project. She's making cheese since 1.5 years. We have 8 cows of an alpine breed called Grigia Alpina, and we are also cheesemaker. So the idea of our winery is not only based on winemaking. We have a holistic approach, and we try to implement this holistic approach also in other let's say, business fields. So we make wine, which is, of course, the most important thing till now, but we also commercialize cheese and vegetables. This is a little bit what we're doing in Trentino.
Amazing. So you really are, this is great because it kind of leads us into several questions, and I will maybe switch things in order the way we originally planned. You talk about holistics. You talked about the dynamics, or maybe I'm inputting dynamics of how you all work together as a family. How was it for you when you came to wine and came to the winemaking, and how was it as you were taking the baton or learning from your mother? What spirit brought you to want to start making the wine? And I didn't realize you've been making them since 2013.
So actually, my mom said to all of us one thing when we turned 18. You can do whatever you want in your life, but it's forbidden to study winemaking.
Forbidden.
So actually, forbidden. So of course, I can't say I want to start wine. Actually, in that time, I was very passionate about Albert Camus and existentialism. So I started philosophy. I have a degree in philosophy and politics, studied in Germany. But I also realized that I was not a real guy into this discipline. I was not one of the best. But I was very, ambitious, and so I graduated. But why studying philosophy in Tübingen? I started to make some stage in Germany in different wineries, because wine was kind of something given in the family. And I worked at Rebholz. I had a chance to work at Château Cheval Blanc in Bordeaux. I worked at Pian de Lorino in Tuscany, and finally I decided, and because it was my second degree, so I was allowed to do it, I studied in Montpellier, wine management, and this is how I got in touch with it. Wine was something which was given in our family, but there was also kind of a distance We were not a typical winemaker's family in that sense. We were not living at the winery. So there was you were born in this intellectual wine field, but you were also at a certain physical distance. And this is why everybody, also my brother and my sister, started with other disciplines. My brother was journalist, worked and lived in the US, and my sister was in Canada doing some vegetables. This is why we all came from other fields and finally find us together in Trentino in a winery.
Okay, amazing. I mean, so it sounds like, there's one thing I have learned about myself through, COVID, and then over the years of having a family and children and finding my own way, in that at home I eat organic in terms of my fruit and vegetables. With wine, I do my best outside of study as a professional to drink biodynamic, most often natural wines within the realm of, correct and clean and whatever that is. I'm getting myself into a whole what is clean natural wine, but we can talk about that another day. So I guess where I'm going with this is sometimes, like religion, not what is preached is not always practiced. But it sounds like in terms of your family and the household, is there a lifestyle at home that is embracing the philosophy of biodynamics and organics, not only just for farming and in the vineyard, but how you live your life? Because this is often not talked about, I would say, as much as, what we do in the vineyard, what we do with the preparations, what we do with the wine. Who are you as an individual within that framework? I remember talking to your mother a few years ago, and we talked about wellness. We talked about the wines. We tasted all the wines, and then we started to talk about wellness, how you take care of yourself. And I feel if you take care of yourself and become your truer self, you'll be better in front of your work. Can you comment on that? How does that evolve in your home from being a philosophy student and how you live? Yeah.
Yeah, it's something which is going even beyond biodynamics. I would say my father, who died in 2009, was fascinated by Goethe. Goethe was a writer, a German writer, and was also the guy who inspired us a lot. Rudolf Steiner, which is, let's say, the mentor of biodynamics. He inspired him a lot. And his claim was always, I say it in German because I'm half German and try to translate it in English afterwards, die Bewahrung der Schöpfung. You have to protect what nature is giving to you. And this is like the spirit we've always grown. So we lived the first years of our life kind of on a mountain and very close to the forest, and we were always very in touch with nature. And for me, there's nothing better than going to the forest, going to the woods, breathing fresh air and feeling that connection. We had the big chance to grow up with a basic instinct and a very close relationship to nature. So when somebody cuts a tree or does something to a plant, it's the same thing then a guy is hitting a dog or mistreating an animal. And this spirit of, let's say, holiness, of course, you also make a step further and you implement it in your lifestyle. So to know what you eat and to know what your body gets from you is like for us the most holy thing. So and this is why we're very, very aware about it, and it's something crucial in our life.
Very good. And so, leads me to the next question is, as you live your life and as you've taken over winemaking from your mother, who led the way, and if I may say, or established what Foradori is, as everyone in the wine world and other parts of the wine world look up to her as a mentor, as a guiding star. How do you, as a farmer and a winemaker, what is your vision and how you add to this a new dynamic to Foradori? Can you do new things, or is it about continuation of the same spirit and energy as a young person. You grow up, you want to add some new things. I want to do this and this. How do you fit Emilio into the project, and how have you been able to do that?
Our parents, especially my mom, gave us two big values. I think the first one is freedom, and the second one, I don't know how to say it in English, courage.
Courage. Yes. Courage.
Yes. And living these values means that you have, of course, to respect the work which was done, but you are kind of forced, or you are kind of driven to do more. Of course, the style of the wine changed in the last years. New wines appeared, like the Pinot Grigio Fuoripista or Les Airs. These are things I did together with my brother. But the changements, you see the changement in the process which are done today. So our vision of as a winery beyond the wine. So we make wine, but we farm also other different things.
Right.
This is only possible because the new ideas and the new spirit of my sister and my brother, me, were kind of present in this winery. I mean, the vegetable project is there because my sister brought this idea. Same thing in the vineyards and in the winemaking. The last 3 years, we bought new properties on the Monte Baldo, which is a place close to the Garda Lake where we plant old varieties, even more obscure than the varieties we have. It's a place where we're going to develop something completely new. And we are going into certain, let's say, dimensions of winemaking and viticulture which are not discovered. I mean, we're going to plant Schitarella, Paulina, varieties that are almost extincted, and we are recuperating for very old plantings. So the work which was done of my mom and my father kind of continues like a living being, like a forest. It's always a dynamic work. Some trees are growing, some trees are falling, but the whole system, as a closed system, is in a strong evolution also right now.
Very good. Thank you for answering that. So as you are encountering new grape varietals and bringing them forward, therefore a new study and a new understanding of how they work kind of keeps you fueled, keeps you moving forward. Perhaps we will see some new wines in our market in the future. I guess we talked about this on the preamble to the recording. You talked about, the business side of things. There is farming, there's the agricultural side, and I like to describe your wines as, there are people who are making wines. And again, this is a broad stroke in a way, and there are those who are growing wines, working as farmers, working with the land, and you can feel the difference in the taste and energy if you are open to it. The business side of things, though, I've done some WSET studies recently in lockdown to keep my brain stimulated and understand what is it like to do WSET and look at marketing and sales and these big markets. How does, we don't talk about biodynamics or organics so much. How do you farm and run a business in terms of, business decisions, marketing, carbon footprint, things moving around the world, which are concerns for organic farming, biodynamic farming, versus the business side, which is sales and marketing and getting your project and your vision and your marketing out there? How do you bring those two worlds together? Is it a group decision? Is it you? It's more of a spiritual question, I guess, is what I'm asking in terms of your business.
I think it's not that spiritual. I mean, we are not making charity. We have 12 fixed employees plus other 10, so we have to feed every day 22 people plus ourselves, so 27 people. I think our approach is that, so all the decisions in terms of business in a certain point are taken together. So we are 4 owners, and we meet once a week. And we meet 3 times a year for strategic decisions. It's something quite challenging because you have, of course, it's a family business. You have the family side, and you have also the entrepreneurial side.
That's right. Yeah.
But knowing that we are living in an environment with a lot of diversity, and having the courage to take decisions, and taking decisions which are usually out of the box and out of the standard of our region, things that are not giving comfort to a normal guy who gets his salary. This is actually our comfort. So knowing that we are doing things differently is kind of, I would say, a confirmation that we are doing things right. And this is our approach to the business. So individuality, courage, and freedom in our decisions drives what we're doing. And this is, I think, the spirit of my mother, which is very present in this vision of life. And this is also the spirit which is driving us today in our daily decisions.
Very good. Thank you for.
And it works. And it works quite well. We're still here.
Oh yes, indeed. Yeah. You're still here, and the wines are delicious. It's just these things that you taste the wine. You're at a wine fair or at a show, and it's like the wines are great and the energy, but how does it get there? There is the human involved. There is travel and transport and logistics, and I know we don't have enough time to sort of go through all of that, but it's just shining some light on the vision and the work that is done behind the scenes and the people that are doing it. So thank you for sharing that note and those few words appropriately and nicely put. And I think for the moment, I think we've kind of covered a lot of ground in all of the questions and what we needed to achieve in broad strokes. I thank you for that. The one thing I wanted to ask you, just to kind of close our eyes and give us a mental picture of where you are in the mountains. What is one space or place on the property, in the forest, or wherever that you go to recenter yourself? Or is it with someone, with friends, an animal? I don't know. What is it that sort of brings you back when you're thinking, contemplating, or you're having some troubles, not so good a day? Is there one space or place that you go to recenter and refocus? Or is there an activity you do?
Yes, there are two things I do to recenter.
Yeah.
One is a typical activity during harvest, because you have to recenter very often during harvest, or rethink or redo something. And that is the cellar, the old cellar. We have an old cellar from 1901. Fermentations take place there since 1901. So it's like the magical place, the place which is giving the soul to our wines, because of course grapes are coming from the vineyards, and we have the diversity in the vineyards. We have the soils and everything, but we have also, if we make spontaneous fermentation, also the cellar, which is kind of the big mother of all the wines. And so I go often there at night, and I listen at the vines. Sometimes I also smoke a cigar.
Okay.
My mom and my brother are not so happy if they come in the morning and they smell it. But it's kind of a meditation which is recentering me, because I feel very close to the, let's say, fermentation process, which is giving me kind of confidence. And at the same time, I observe the whole thing. So it's a kind of in and out. And the other place where I go, it's also not far from the winery. Close to the winery, you have a little clos, we can say. It's a vineyard which is surrounded by a little wall. It's the oldest property we have. And when I have some troubles or something, I just walk around this little vineyard. So it's kind of close to the office. And you take a breath of air, you look up, you see the mountains, you see the blue sky, and this gives you a lot of energy in a very short time. Amazing.
Thank you so much, Emilio, for making the time to share a bit of yourself with us, with me, and answering my questions for Good Food Revolution. This was Broad Strokes. As we sort of paint a picture of Emilio Zierock at Foradori in Trentino, Alto Adige in Italy. one of a world famous wine amongst all consumers, not just organic biodynamics, but anyone who has an opportunity to taste these wines, especially the Granato, one of the top wines, and of the amphora aged wines are always, what is this? I've never had something like this before. So thank you so much for giving us a bit of yourself today.
Thank you. It was a pleasure to talk with you.
Yes, and hopefully we'll see each other soon at one of the wine fairs as we slowly begin to travel, whether it's in Italy, Canada, or elsewhere. So thank you, and enjoy the rest of your night. I think it's evening time there, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
It's already dark.
Very.
I might go for a run in the forest. I
Very
like the dark forest.
Good. And it's just daytime here. My day is just beginning, and I have some errands to do, and then back to service this evening. So thank you very much, Emilio.
Grazie mille.
We'll see you soon. Thank you.
Grazie, ciao.
Ciao.